Are we finally clear of that 10K number, or could we be going back? What's going on, guys? This is Yixi of Magna Crypto, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, I want to look at Bitcoin breaking the 10K region finally again and even hitting $11,000. But I want to look at more particular, is there a chance of us going back below that level? So let's look at that a little closer with this technical analysis video. So let's have a little closer look at if there's a possibility. Now it looks quite clearly now, and as I have mentioned in previous videos, that we are in somewhat of a long-term symmetrical triangle, or even a short-term one if you want to discount, the trend line actually reaching all the way back here. So you can see here this symmetrical triangle that has been building within since May of this year, and then bouncing between these levels, and then this strong breakout going all the way up to 11K, which is previous resistance back in August and July of 2019. But normally when it comes to symmetrical triangles, when there is a breakout, a lot of times you get a retesting of that top counter trend line. So that's the thing, that's my theory, in that there is a possibility that we could actually go back down, even if it is just to retest it for a short time, and then to go back up again, probably breaching this 11K region to continue going higher. Because yeah, as I said, a lot of times that's what happens in these chart patterns, especially symmetrical triangles. So if we move it to the daily, you can see what a beautiful breakout it was. Firstly, it's always easy to see things in hindsight, but just now it just clearly looks like a perfect symmetrical triangle. And I do actually think there's a good possibility that we will go back down to retest that, and then potentially continue going higher. If we look at the volume, so volume was actually dropping quite a lot up until this point. We started to have an increase in volume at this point, ever so slightly, and then a massive surge in volume to break out up into this region. I think that's probably another important point to look at. If we continue to have good volume, if it continues to increase on average, then we might not be going back down. But if volume starts to drop again back to these levels, I think there's a stronger possibility that we'll go down, break below all these support levels, and then go back to the breakout of that trend line, and then go back to the top of that counter trend line to retest it and potentially continue to go higher. Now it is obviously also possible that it just goes back to the support level and then it continues to go back higher again. If we look at previous price history, this was an area of resistance, so that could then become, and even here, so that could then become the area of support, and it could bounce back from there. If we do look at previous price history, we have gone all the way to 12K, 13K, rejected, even 12K here, rejected, and then bounced between 12 and 9.6, and this happens to be the top of the trend line that we're at now. So it's this area over here, which was previous support. So it could, that adds to the case that we could be going back down, touching that, and continue going higher. It's a possibility. Another thing to look at is BTC dominance, which goes to show that, if you've noticed, BTC's rise at the moment has come to the detriment of the altcoins, and as many of us know, this is a cyclical thing. It comes in waves. It's like a pendulum that goes one way and then the other. So if you look at BTC's dominance, actually, since about August 2019, it has been dropping quite steadily and consistently, making lower highs and lower lows. And now it seems we're at a point, a juncture, where it's like an area of support. although BTC dominance, the chart doesn't work in that way, but you can see that, you know, the lowest 60% level is like an area of support. Once it gets to that area, you know, you tend to have somewhat of a reversal and BTC starts to become dominant again, and this goes in line with altcoins losing its dominance. So we did actually spike all the way down to 59, and this could be the point where BTC starts to go on its, you know, dominance path. So it could start to gain dominance. More capital could start going to BTC either from the outside, from fresh money, new money, or it could be, in this case, from altcoins losing money, because all the altcoins have lost capital, and it seems to go on to Bitcoin now. So this could be the reversal point where BTC starts to dominate again, and altcoins starts to lose dominance. However, if you look a bit closer as well, this is somewhat of a make or break for Bitcoin, in that it could continue to go lower and altcoins could continue to gain more dominance. As you can see here, it was bouncing between 53 and 60, so between 50 and 60, let's just say. And here, this point again, an area of resistance, where it, you know, tried to go beyond that, it got rejected, and then continue going higher. So it could be the case where we are at that point where it's going to act as support, and we continue to go higher, or reverse and become more dominant for the short term, or it could break below that if altcoin dominance is strong enough to continue going higher, and thus we could break below that, and Bitcoin could continue to lose dominance in the market. Now, what I've said in previous videos is that just because Bitcoin loses dominance doesn't mean that both Bitcoin and the altcoins can increase in value and price. All it means when Bitcoin loses dominance is that altcoins has a greater market share. Now, this doesn't have to mean that, you know, the capital from Bitcoin is directly going into altcoins, or this is the case most of the time. It could also mean that, you know, fresh money or new money is coming into altcoin and it's not directly coming from Bitcoin. So yeah, so Bitcoin losing dominance doesn't necessarily mean that's gonna decrease in price. So just bear that in mind. So that's what I want to talk about in this video. If you haven't taken a little bit of profit at least, I would say so. I would. That's what I'm doing. I'm taking a little bit of profit off the table, and I just, you know, treating myself. It's always good to do that, because Bitcoin can, or there's a possibility that it can reverse. It already has rejected of that 11K region. It can go all the way down to 9.6. That region retest this level and potentially continue going higher, or it could even go below that. It's not you know, outside of the realms of possibility. So it's always good to take a little bit out and treat yourself, because there is a possibility of that happening. But also do pay attention to the volume. It has increased nicely at the moment, but for us to continue going higher, we're going to have to see consistent volume at this level and then continue going higher. So that's very important to look at. So that'll be all for this video. Hope you got some value from that, and see you in the next one. Peace.